My name is Chelsea and I am the content creator and designer behind Knitting Tipsy. I create and design size-inclusive, beachy, sexy knit and crochet patterns that you can wear on your next tropical vacation. Today, I'm going to show you how you can make my latest design, the Naughty But Nice bikini top. Now, I know a bikini might seem an odd choice for something to make for Christmas and the winter holidays, but I am a Florida girl, and here in Florida, we salt margaritas, not sidewalks. Our festive holiday wear often includes bikinis, shorts, tank tops, and sundresses. This super simple and fast crochet bikini is perfect if you have a winter holidays vacation planned, if you enjoy hot tubbing in the snow, or simply if you want to feel ho-ho hot for the holidays, or maybe surprise your own Mrs. or Mr. Claus. Truly, you can make and wear this bikini top any time of the year. You don't have to make it Christmassy or winter holiday, but it is really fun for the holidays too. The Naughty But Nice bikini top is made with granny stitches, and it's suitable for adventurous beginner crocheters. You'll need to know how to chain, make a magic ring, and double and single crochet. The fabric you'll be creating with your bikini top is beautiful, but it is relatively open. Now, if that's your thing, go ahead and rock it. I sometimes do. But if you desire a little extra coverage, I'm going to show you two different ways that you can line or cover your bikini. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how I get my perfect fit bikini cups. And I'm going to give you tips and suggestions for creating your own perfect fit. If you'd like this to become a tested size-inclusive bikini pattern, complete with bottoms, please let me know in the comments. So go ahead and pour yourself a cock or a mock, and let's chat yarn choices and the tools you'll need to get started. All right, y'all, let's chat yarn choices. First of all, the really cool thing about this bikini is you can make it in any yarn you want. Any yarn and with any hook size, as long as you like the fabric that you're creating. You can use any yarn weight that you like. Now, you do need to make some decisions about what is the purpose for your bikini top. Are you making it as a lingerie piece? Are you making it as a sunbathing top? Or will you be wearing this into the water as a swimsuit top? Knowing how you intend to use your bikini is really going to lead you to the right yarn choice. Now, if you're making your top as a lingerie piece, you're lucky. You can use any yarn you want, really. For my Mrs. Claus inspired piece, I used a DK worsted yarn from Hobbii. This is their 8/8 rainbow cotton. It's super soft. It's relatively cheap, and they have tons of colors. It's nice to work with. I highly recommend this yarn. For the trim of the bikini top and the skirt, I used Bernat blanket yarn to give it that nice fluffy, snowy appearance. The skirt, I actually ran out. I wasn't going to have enough yarn to make it in this rainbow 8/8. So I went onto the Hobbii site and they no longer sell the colorway that I was using. So I took my skein to my local Joann's and I found an almost perfect color match with the Big Twist acrylic. It's a worsted weight. I don't even think you can tell the difference, especially in photos. Next, if you're going to make a sunbathing top, I would recommend cotton, bamboo, something that's going to be a summer yarn. You don't really want a wool sunbathing top. You're probably not going to want to wear 100% wool out in the sunshine, but you could if that's what you're into. The top we are going to make together is going to be my sunbathing sample, and I am using this big, beautiful Lily Sugar and Cream worsted weight cotton. Now, you might be wondering, well, what is the difference between a sunbathing top and a swimsuit top? And it's really about how much water your bikini top is going to absorb and how quickly it's going to dry. I would not recommend this yarn if you plan on going into the water with your top. Could you? Would it ruin anything? No, but it would be very heavy on your body. It might stretch out and you would be in a wet top all day. It does not dry very quickly. But if you're only planning on sunbathing, that doesn't matter. So use a cotton. I recommend cotton. I think it's the easiest to work with. It's also the most accessible for a lot of people. You can use any weight cotton. If you want to make it chunky, go ahead. I personally would recommend worsted weight and finer. Now, lastly, if you want to make your top something that you can wear into the water, you're gonna want to use one of two yarns. You could use a fingering weight cotton yarn. This is another Hobie yarn. I love Hobie. I find it to be, the prices are great. Their shipping is really awesome. It gets to you quickly. They have so many different choices. I really like Hobie yarn. Now, I just want to be clear. This is not going to dry like a fabric bikini. It doesn't really matter what yarn you use. If you make a crochet bikini top, it's going to absorb more water than fabric does. However, I do think this is one of the best fingering weight cottons that you can get if you're going to make your top. And I have several bikinis made with this baby cotton, and they're great. I wear them in the ocean, I wear them in the pool, and the only thing you need to think about is the color fastness. Sometimes, if you're going into chlorine, the colors could fade a little bit, which is a bummer. I recommend getting into fresh water first to kind of coat your bikini and saturate your yarn before you get into chlorine or salt water. Same thing when you are coming out of the pool or coming out of the ocean. Make sure you rinse your bikini as soon as possible. You don't have to tear it off your body immediately, but it is a good idea to rinse out the water from the pool and the water from the ocean. It will help protect your bikini and it will help make sure that the colors don't fade as fast. This is the first sample of the Knotty but Nice bikini top, and these are the colors I used and the yarn that I used. I would feel very comfortable going into the water with this. I'm still only planning on really using this as a sunbathing bikini, but if I were choosing to make this a swimsuit bikini, into the edging, I would probably add some elastic. The elastic is really nice around the cups and in the straps so that it doesn't stretch out. Cotton doesn't have memory, so when it gets wet and it stretches, it can become very loose on your body. If you add elastic, especially on the bottom of the cups and into the side straps and the top, it's going to stay snugly on your body, which is much appreciated when you're coming out of the water. Now I am going to show you how you can line your bikini. There are lots of different methods. You can actually use fabric to line your bikini cups, and I have done tutorials on that before. I'm not sure if those are currently available, but this is a really fun and easy way if you don't want to mess with cutting out fabric and creating seam allowances. You know those really, really annoying cups that come out of your bikinis or come out of your sports bras? You can use them to line your crochet bikinis. Get a color that matches close to your skin tone and you can't even tell that it's there. I'll show y'all how to do this and line at the end of this tutorial. There are yarns that I consider bikini yarns and that I love to use when I'm making swimsuits. These are yarns that are made out of microfiber or yarns that have elastic in them. One of the most popular brands is Elise Diva Stretch. You can get that yarn on Etsy. It will not fade. The colors will not fade in chlorine or in the ocean, which I think is pretty awesome. If you want to shop and support some small businesses, there are two dyers that I currently know of that make bikini yarns. The first is LaRue Cotton. At LaRue Yarn, you can purchase the vegan sock yarn. This is great if you're looking for vegan options for any of your knitting, but especially if you want to make socks, which they need that spring back, that memory, or bikinis that really mold and form to your body. I've used Kathleen's yarns for tons of my bikini samples, including the course that I created with Knit Stars, crafting bikinis that fit your body. I highly recommend checking her out. Another dyer that has a vegan sock yarn is Tropical Yarny. Andrea is incredible, and she's a local Florida dyer. I'll include links in the description to both of these dyers. Now that we've chatted yarn, let's go ahead and talk about the tools that you're going to need to make your Knotty but Nice bikini top. To make your Knotty but Nice bikini top, you're going to need, of course, your yarn. a crochet hook in a size that creates a fabric you like. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using a 4.0 millimeter hook, and this gorgeous hook is by Mac of Mac Die Conley. You're also going to want some scissors and a yarn needle. If you plan on lining your top, you're going to want 2 padded cups, either from a bikini or a sports bra, and some thread and a sewing needle. I really like using thread that has stretchable elastic inside of it. This is Elo Flex from Coats & Clark. I found it at my local Joann. If you can, thread that matches your bikini yarn would be great, but it's actually not going to show through on the other side, so you could also go with a neutral. The other option for some coverage on your bikini top that I'm going to show you today is to create crochet appliques to sew on top of your bikini cups. Since this is a festive Christmas bikini, I created some adorable crochet Christmas tree appliques that I will be stitching onto our cups when we finish. This crochet applique pattern is by Divine Debris and is available for free on her blog. Once you have everything you need, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to begin by making the crochet cup. We will make 2 of these. The cups are super easy. There are actually only 4 round instructions, and then you will be repeating rounds 3 and 4 to make your bikini to your preferred size. How do you know how big to make it? I recommend measuring the bottom of one of your favorite bikini cups to see approximately what that base width is of the cup or the triangle. Another option is to measure your own body using what I like to call the swell to swell method. Because we're on YouTube, I can't show you too much about this, but basically you want to hold a tape measure on the inside swell of your breast, where it meets the center of your body. Measure under your breast until the outside swell. It's usually right in line with your armpit going straight down. That gives you a base width measurement for your triangle, and that's about how big you want your triangle cup to measure. For me and my body right now, I really like a 9-inch base. So I will be crocheting my triangle until it reaches 9 inches at the base. The first thing we're going to do is make a magic ring. People teach different ways of doing it, but this is how I like. I hold the yarn over my hand, wrap it up around, insert my hook underneath, pull up that loop, and there's my magic ring. I have one leg of the yarn that is attached to the ball on the right and my tail end on the left. I'm going to pinch the yarn, my working yarn, and pull it up. And my tail is pointed down. Now I'm ready to begin. The first thing we're going to do is make a chain 3. This is going to count as your first double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Now, like I told you, this top is made with granny stitches, and a granny stitch is just 3 double crochets together in a clump. So we have our first double crochet. We need to make 2 more double crochets to finish our first granny stitch. In case you need a refresher, to double crochet, we yarn over our hook, go into the circle of the magic ring, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. And that's our second double crochet. We're going to go ahead and make a third one. This yarn can be very splitty, so if you see me struggling with it, I'm sorry. All right, we have our first granny stitch. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to make another granny stitch. So 3 double crochets into this magic ring. 1, 2, and 3. Now this granny stitch that we've just created, this is actually one part of our first corner. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. The corners of your triangle have chain 3. And we're going to make another granny stitch into the circle. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is the first corner of our triangle. Now we're going to chain 2 and make another granny stitch. From the chain 3, we're repeating that once more. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, granny stitch, chain 2, granny stitch. Do you like the little squeak of that yarn? Okay, now if we pull the tail of our magic ring together, we can see that we have one corner. Might not look like it right now, but I promise, 2 corners. To make the third corner and to finish off our first round, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to slip stitch into the third chain of that first chain 3, the double crochet that we made. So I like to make sure that I'm getting under both of the legs. Whoop. Nope, not there. There we go. And finish out the slip stitch. Whew, that was a little tough. All right, and then you can pull this tighter at the end, but just so you can see what your first round looks like, I'll leave that open just a little bit. It doesn't really look like a triangle yet, does it? I promise it's going to look like a triangle after the next round. If you want to double check that you did it right though, you can count your granny square clusters. You should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you should have 3 sets of chain 3. So here's 1 chain 3, here's another chain 3, and here's our third chain 3. Okay, round 2. We are going to chain 5. We're going to be working in the spaces all along our round. So this chain 5 is acting like a double crochet plus a chain 2. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to skip over our granny stitch. Like I said, we're working in the chain spaces, and we're going to granny stitch in this chain 2 space. Okay. We're going to chain 2, and now we're into a chain 3 space. This is a corner. To make our corners, we're doing granny stitch, chain 3, granny stitch. So into this chain 3 corner, granny stitch, chain 3, granny stitch. Okay, and we have a lovely little corner there. We're going to chain 2, and we are going to go ahead in this chain 2 space, place a granny stitch. And then after a granny stitch that is not part of your corners, we chain 2. I have a chain 3 space. This is a corner, so granny stitch, chain 3, granny stitch. another corner. After a corner, chain 2. And now we have another chain 2 space here. Go ahead and granny stitch, because again, this is not a corner, it's a chain 2 space. So we make 1 granny stitch. And we chain 2. This final chain space is our last corner, but it technically has a chain 5 coming out of it. Remember, this is a double crochet plus a chain 2. So we want to make a granny stitch, chain 3, and then part of a granny stitch to go with our last double crochet. So let me show you how to do that. Granny stitch, chain 3, because it's our corner. And now we need to make a granny stitch, but we already have 1 double crochet. So we're only going to put 2 double crochets here. Ooh, make sure you don't go into that space. Okay, and then this leg is our 3rd, so we're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, I like to get under, it's fiddly, but I like to go under both legs. There we go. There. And now if we set it down, pull this snugly, do you see our triangle? I promised you it would look like one. We have a chain 3 space, a chain 3 space, a chain 3 space. And in each of these, there are 2 double crochets coming out to form our corners. The next 2 rows are the rows that you will continue to repeat around and around and around until you get the cup that is your perfect size. So let me show you what to do with round 3. On round 3, where we are coming out of a perfectly made granny stitch, we are going to slip stitch into the next space. Now we're going to chain 3 to count as our first double crochet, and we're going to go ahead and finish out the space with a granny stitch. So 2 more double crochets. After a granny stitch that is not a corner, we are going to make a chain 2. And our next space is also a chain 2. So this is just a regular granny stitch. We chain 2 because it's not a corner space. And now we have reached a corner. We're going to granny stitch, chain 3, granny stitch. There, I told you this yarn was fiddly. Okay, we only use chain 3s for the corner, so it's a chain 2 after. And we're gonna keep going all the way around our triangle, making a granny stitch in chain 2 spaces. These are the sides of our triangle. And placing a granny stitch, chain 3, granny stitch in the corners. When you finish your final corner and you've chained 2, I will meet you at the end. So here's a chain 2 space. We're going to granny stitch and chain 2. Another chain 2 space. So we granny stitch and chain 2. A corner space, so we granny stitch, chain 3, granny stitch. After a corner, and because it's not our chain 3 space in the corner, we chain 2. And we're working into the side. Granny stitch, chain 2, another side, chain 2 space, granny stitch, chain 2. We have another corner, so we're going to granny stitch, chain 3, granny stitch. And after this corner, we chain 2. And here we are, back to the beginning of our round. We are going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain, into the top of that double crochet we made. Come on, little leggy. There we go. All right, so that was round 3. Now round 4 is basically the same thing. We are making granny stitches into the sides of our triangle, and we are placing granny stitch, chain 3, granny stitch into the corners. The only reason round 4 is different is because we are now right before a granny stitch. So instead of just making a chain 3 and granny stitching in that space, we're gonna do chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to count as the last double crochet of a granny stitch plus a chain 2. So go ahead and skip this granny stitch and make your next granny stitch along the side of your triangle per usual. After granny stitches, we change chain 2, another granny stitch, chain 2, and a corner, granny stitch, chain 3, granny stitch, all in that corner. Okay, so go ahead and keep going around your triangle. When you finish making your bottom corner and you're getting ready to work into the last space, I'll meet you there just in case you need a refresher on what to do. Okay, so we finished up the last corner. We only have our chain space left. We have ended with a chain 2 here, and into this space we are going to place 2 double crochet to finish out our granny stitch. So 2 double crochet. And we're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain of our chain 5. So 1, 2, and 3. And there we have it. So we can see our triangle is going to continue growing. Just keep repeating rounds 3 and 4 until you reach a width that feels comfortable on your breast or that measures that base width recommendation that we talked about. When you've done that, I'll meet you right here to show you how to finish off, and then we'll talk about what to do once you have both cups. Okay, y'all, so this is my perfect cup size for me. And I have just slipped in to the chain 3 of the chain 5. I ended up finishing on a row 4. It's okay if you finish on a row 4. It's okay if you finish on a row 3. It doesn't make that big of a difference. So what you're going to do is for your first cup, you're going to go ahead and finish off. You're going to give this a little snip and then pull it through the loop to tighten it. Then you're going to repeat everything again to make your second cup. Now, sometimes with our bosoms, we have sisters, not twins. It's okay if one of your breasts is larger than the other. That's very normal, and all boobies are beautiful boobies. But I do recommend making your cups the same size. It makes it less noticeable when you're wearing them on your body. unless you want it to be noticeable. And in that case, go ahead and make 2 separate size cups. That's totally fine. When you finish your second cup, we're not going to finish off. We're actually going to go ahead and continue on. So go ahead, make your second cup, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, we have 2 granny stitch cups, one of which has been finished off and one of which has not. So now what we're going to do is add an edging, and our edging is going to include straps to tie around our neck, straps to tie around our body, and it's going to connect our 2 cups together. So with your first cup, go ahead and insert your hook into the loop where you last were. Now for me, I have slip stitched into the chain 3 of the chain 5. You might have slip stitched into your first granny stitch of the next row. It's totally fine whichever you've done. If you are like me, we are going to chain 1 and we are going to make a single crochet in the next space. If you slip stitched into your granny stitch, you are going to make a single crochet into the top of your double crochet. That's going to be your first stitch. But give me a second to explain how this works and you'll see it really doesn't matter. So I have a chain 1. Now, as we look at our sides and our corners, keep in mind what is a stitch and what is a chain. This space is a chain 2. That's 2 stitches, 2 chains. I am going to place 2 single crochets in here. My granny stitch is composed of 3 double crochets. So I'm going to make a single crochet into the top of each stitch, the top of each double crochet. Let's go ahead and see how that works. So again, it doesn't matter if you're starting here or here. I have my chain 1. I'm going to make 1, 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space. I'm going to single crochet in each stitch of my grannies. And remember, these are single crochets, not double. I have sometimes forgotten that as I'm going along. Another chain 2 space, so 2 single crochets. Granny stitch is 3. And what we're doing is we're working up the inside of our bikini. So picture this on your body, your chest, the center of your chest is here, and the other bikini cup will be here. So we're working up our cup to the point here where we will have our neck straps, and this is the inside. So chain 2 space, 2 single crochets, 3 double crochets means 3 single crochets, 2 single crochets. Okay, and then this is our last granny stitch before the peak, the top of our cup. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we want to make our strap, our necktie. So in this top corner, you're going to place 1 single crochet, and then you are going to chain an amount of chains that feels good to go up your shoulders and tie around your neck. For me, that's usually, depending on the yarn, anywhere between 75 and 150 chains. It's okay if it's a lot less for you or a lot more for you. But I'm going to start chaining. And I like to keep track of my chains, just the count, and write them down on a sticky note so that I know for the second cup how many I need to do in case I have forgotten. So we're just going to start making chains. Okay, I've hit 75. I'm gonna hold this up to my body and just see, do I feel like I need more chains or does this feel like a good amount? I think I want more. I'm gonna do 25 more and make it a nice even 100. So that's 100 chains. I'm gonna hold it up one more time, make sure I like it. Yep, that feels really good. I think I'm gonna like that. And now I am going to go to the second chain from the hook, and I am going to single crochet in it. So second chain, make a single crochet. This is going to make my straps a little bit thicker, a little bit more sturdy, and it's going to allow me to connect back to the top of the cup. You can make your chains thicker. If you have heavier breasts, you might feel more comfortable with a half double crochet or a double crochet so that your straps are wider. But for me, I'm going to do single crochets. So I'm going to single crochet all down my chain, making sure that I don't twist my chain. And when I get back to here, I am going to skip this top first chain. So I will meet you once you've made your single, double. You could even do slip stitches if you want really thin straps, but I'll meet you back here whenever our chain is complete, our strap is complete. Okay, we have a strap, a strapping young strap. Over the shoulder boulder holder. But here is our strap done. And I have one chain left, which I'm going to skip. And we're going to go ahead and single crochet into our chain 3 space, the same chain 3 space that we made our first single crochet in for the strap. So single crochet. That gives us a nice little V, peak, Eiffel Tower, something at the top. All right, now we are going to work down the outside of our triangular cup, doing the same method, a single crochet in every stitch, and in our chain 2 spaces, we'll place 2 single crochet. I will meet you in the space before the corner. Okay, and now we are in the space before our bottom corner of our triangle. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my 3 single crochet stitches. Oh, this one's real fiddly. Into this vinyl granny stitch. And now it's the same basic premise as the neck straps, but we are doing the ties that go around your chest and your back. So these are probably going to be a little bit longer. For me, I feel like it's anywhere, depending on the yarn again, between like 100 to 125 all the way up to, I've done with like some real thin bikini yarn, some Elise Diva stretch, I think I've done 200 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and give a pause at like 125 or 130 and see how that feels and go from there. So a single crochet into our corner, just like we did with the top of the strap. And now we chain. All right, I'm at 125. I'm going to hold this up onto my body and see how I like a strap. That actually feels really long to me. I'm going to take out 10 stitches or 10 chains. All right, let me see if that feels any better. It's still a little long, but I'm gonna go with it. I think I'd be happier with it being just a little bit too long than a little bit too short. So my perfect number here is gonna be 115 chains. So again, you might wanna write that number down so that you can make sure your other strap is the same. And we're gonna do the same technique. we are going to single crochet or the stitch of your choice back down the chain. So second chain from the hook, I make my single crochet and I keep going. So go ahead, I will meet you. Again, we'll have one chain left on our chain and we'll work into that corner. So that's where I'll meet you. Okay, we have a long body tie. And I'm actually laughing because sometimes whenever you work into the chain, it often shortens. So you might want to make your chain a little bit longer than it needs to be. But I swear sometimes the opposite is true. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. And then it ends up so much longer. Sometimes I think this is sorcery and witchcraft even more than just the general magic of creating can be. But now I'm kind of thinking maybe those extra 15 stitches or extra 10 stitches would have been helpful, but I think it'll be fine. So don't stress too much. As long as it ties, you're good. So we have one chain left and I'm going to go ahead and skip that and single crochet into our chain 3 corner. And that closes off our tie. Next, we are going to follow our same little technique, a single crochet in each stitch, 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space until we get to the corner. So I will meet you in this space before our corner across. Okay, we are in the space before our inside corner. So go ahead and make your 3 single crochet stitches on top of your granny. And now in this corner, we are just making 1 single crochet. So single crochet. Okay, so this is the bottom of your right cup. So, right breast, it's the bottom of the right cup. So you're going to take your second granny cup, your second triangular bikini cup, and you want to make sure it has the same orientation. The right side is up. Whichever side you want to be the bottom is fine. Pick one. And you are, which one do I want to do? I'm going to do this way. So once you have your second bikini cup in the direction that you want, you're going to make a chain 1, and then you're going to single crochet into the inside corner of the bottom of this cup. So I'm going to make my single crochet here, and that joins them together with a chain 1 space in between. So now we need to work across the bottom of our cup in the same method. So on the second cup, again, you have 1 single crochet in the corner stitch. That's perfect. And then you're going to do 3 single crochets, 2 single crochets, 3, 2, 3, 2, all the way to the corner, and I'll meet you here. All right, so we've worked all the way across the bottom. And I went ahead and made my 3 single crochets in that granny stitch at the bottom. And now we're going to place 1 single crochet in the corner. And just like we did on the other bottom corner, we are going to make the strap to tie around our chest and our back. So whatever number you used on that side, that's the same number that you're going to chain on this side. And then you work into the second chain from the hook, work your way all the way back. When you are 1 chain away from our corner here on our cups, that's where I'll meet you. Okay, whew, y'all, we are getting close to being done. But you have made your second strap and chained back, and there should be 1 chain remaining. So I'm gonna move this over here just for the purpose of showing you. We're gonna go ahead and into the cup, we are going to place our single crochet into the corner of the cup. I apologize, our single crochet. So now our second chain strap is done, and so is the bottom of our bikini. So I'm actually going to turn so that I'm working up. Let me move my yarn to the other side. That'll make life a little easier for me. Okay, so here is my right cup, here is my left cup, and now I am working up the side of this cup. Same thing. 3 single crochets in the top of our granny stitch, 2 single crochets in the space, and I will meet you when we are at the top of our left cup to make our neck strap. So for the top of our cup, you're going to make that single crochet in the chain 3 space, and then remember your number from the first cup. However many chains you used for your neck strap, that's what you're going to use here. For me, that number was 100. So I'm going to chain 100, and then working in the second chain from the hook, I'm going to work my way straight back down with single crochets. You use whatever stitch you feel comfortable with. And when you are 1 chain away from the top of the cup, I'll meet you again. Okay, are you excited? We have all of our straps done. So we have that 1 chain left. We're going to skip it and single crochet into the top of our left cup, into that chain 3 space. So all that we have left is the inside of our left cup and part of the right cup. So we are going to continue in pattern with our single crochets down. We're going to do a little join here at the top to make this snug in and fit a little better, and then we'll continue up and finish off. So we have very little left until your naughty but nice bikini top is ready. Okay, so keep going down the side in pattern, single crocheting in the top of each double crochet of our granny stitch, single crocheting in the chain 2 spaces. Okay, so we are at the top of the granny stitch here, and I'm so sorry if you can hear the helicopter. It's been going for like 20 minutes. I've been trying to wait it out. I don't know what's going on in my neighborhood right now. But we are going to go ahead and make 1 single crochet in the corner here, and then we're going to single crochet in that chain 1 that joined our cups. So I like to get so that there's the 2 legs on top and 1 on the bottom, but that can be a little fiddly with this yarn. It's quite splitty. Okay, there we go. And then a single crochet in the cup on the other side. My goodness, wonder what happened. I hope it's not an accident. Okay, and now we are just about done, y'all. We're gonna work up until our final stitch and slip stitch into our first single crochet. So just a few more stitches until your naughty but nice granny stitch bikini top is complete. Did you notice my drink levels slowly decreasing as this tutorial went on? I'm feeling good. It's a nice little drink this afternoon. Honest to goodness, I think the helicopter, like, they must be looking for me. That is how close they're flying above my house. Okay, I have made my final single crochet, and I am going to slip stitch into my first single crochet, pull up a loop, give it a little snip, and finish off. And look at that, y'all. It's a bikini top. Yay! You did it. I am so proud of you, and I hope you are so proud of you too. What you're going to want to do next, you are going to want to weave in all of your ends, whether you made a multicolor version or a single color version. Weave in those ends, and if that's where you want to stop, if this feels great to you, awesome. I'm so proud of you, and I hope that you're proud of you too. If you want to add appliques or you want to line your bikini, we're going to do that next. Let's talk lining our bikinis. I'm going to show you two different ways in this tutorial. And the first way we're going to talk about is with appliques. The easiest way to make sure that your applique is going to cover what you want covered is to try on your bikini first. Once you have it on, you can take a measurement of the area that you want covered, and you can make an applique that matches that. Once you have your applique complete, I highly recommend putting on your bikini top and then pinning the applique in a way that it feels centered on the cup, that it covers what you want covered. The cups curve around your breasts, so they're not going to be dead center. For me, the area that I want covered is actually slightly to the inside of my cups because that's the center as the cups curve around my body. So with this cup here, my left cup, I put on the bikini top and I've pinned it so that it looks centered on my body and it's covering everything. I'm going to put it back on and pin the other applique on, and then I'm going to sew it. You could totally hot glue if you want. If this is a sunbathing bikini and you want to hot glue it or want to use fabric glue, that is totally fine. But I'm going to sew it and I'll show you how to do that. So let me go ahead and pin this other applique and I'll show you. I have my appliques pinned. I like how they look on my body. I like how they look on the cups. They are pretty even. And you'll see I left long tails on my appliques because I'm going to use them in my stitching. So I am going to take a yarn needle and thread it through. And then I'm just going to stitch my appliques on. So you can use whatever technique you want for doing this. If you want this to be completely invisible, you can use the sewing thread and needle, and you can stitch the cup to just the back of the applique stitches. That is the technique that I will show you when you are doing your cups, if you're going to line them with cups. But for this, I feel like it's just easier. Because the yarn is the same color, I'm just going to stitch around the edges. And when I've reached back around, I'm just going to weave in my end. I'm gonna do the same thing for the trunk, and then I'm going to repeat on my second cup. Okay, and once you have woven in the ends of your applique, you're done. Your naughty but nice bikini is finished. I'm gonna pop in a few pictures here so you can see how cute and festive this bikini is with the little Christmas tree appliques. If you'd like to make your own, again, this applique is by Divine Debris and it's super simple and fun. I have added the Christmas ornaments, which are just from my bead collection, and I did just hot glue them onto the cotton yarn that I used for my tree. Yay! Now there's one more method of adding a lining. If you don't want to add anything on top, or you just like the feeling on the inside of the cup of having something lined, let me show you how to sew in cups to your crochet bikini top. All right, y'all. I have shown in some other videos before how to line your bikini top with fabric, especially spandex or bikini fabric. I'm going to do another updated tutorial on that soon. But this way is a really easy way if you've never lined something before. And it gives nice coverage. It also provides a little bit of padding support. So if you're somebody who likes a little bit of shaping in your cups, this is kind of fun to do that. And you're just gonna use those super annoying cups that come in our sports bras, bikini tops, and bralettes. These little pads, I don't understand why they don't sew them in. I have no problem with them being in the bra, but I think that they should be sewn in because otherwise they just move, and I swear this is how all mine end up. And it's really annoying. If you don't find it annoying, good for you, but I find it super annoying. But I save these cups because they are really fun to use with crochet and sewing. They just provide a little more structure, especially since we're gonna sew it in. So for this method, you're going to need your crocheted bikini top. You are going to need 2 cups that fit you comfortably and that also fit your bikini top. They don't have to go all the way to the edge, but you don't want them to be bigger than your bikini cup. That won't work. So your padding needs to be smaller or the same size. You're also going to want some sewing thread. I really like this Elo Flex yarn. It's stretchable elastic. It has just a tiny bit of stretch to it, and I think that is really good for especially bikini use if you're going to wear this in the water. You're also going to want some pins to help pin your cup into place and scissors. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pin our cup into place. Now you want the cup that has the out part, concave, convex, I never remember which one it is. But when sewing, you want the cup to be pushing convex into your cup. I know the one on the left doesn't look that way, but I swear it is. I just need to wear the top more so that it pushes in. You can see that on this cup, which is already sewn into place. And again, it's nice because yes, you can see the cup, but especially with my skin behind it, it kind of matches my skin tone. It's not super noticeable. You'll see that I chose one of the rounds to line up my cup with. You want to make sure that there's enough give in your cup so that you're not stretching the cup because then you have no place to put your breast. Think of this as a little pocket that you want to put your boob in. So when you choose your position, you want to make sure that it's curving around the cup so that you're still going to have a little pocket for your breast. On my cup, that ended up being green, red, green, the third row down, and I was able to sew my cup relatively evenly along that line. So that was really helpful with this 2-color combination. But if you don't have 2 colors, you can just, keep counting to make sure. So I'm going to line up the point of my cup with one of the granny square corners, the increases there, and I'm just gonna pin that. I'm gonna put my first pin in there because we want it to hold into place. Once we have our first pin, now we want to continue the cup around, but remember, you wanna push the cup in because we're making that pocket, and then you're just going to pin it 1, 2, 3 in place in this corner. Sometimes they're a little fiddly. Be careful you don't poke yourself. And same in this. I'm pushing in to pin, and I'm just going to match up this corner too. If you want to put more pins in, if that's helpful to you, you can go ahead and do that. I'm just going to do these 3. So I know that my cups now match, and when I flip it over, they will look the same. Our next step, we're going to take our sewing needle and get yourself a decent strand of thread. It's okay if your thread ends up not being long enough if you need to cut another piece later. It's not a big deal. So we're going to go ahead and thread our needle. There we go. Okay. Now you do not have to be a really great sewist to be able to sew this in. It's totally okay if you are not great at hand sewing or sewing in general. I promise this is not too hard. So when we stitch into our cup, we are not coming all the way through to the other side. If you look at this one, you cannot see this white yarn that I am using on this side of the fabric because we're only going to be going in the back of the stitches, not pushing through all the way. So if you have a color that matches your bikini, that's great. If you have thread that matches your bikini, but if you don't, it's okay. You can just use like a neutral color yarn. So I am going to go ahead and start stitching at the top here. The stitch we're going to be using is known as an overcast stitch or a whip stitch in sewing. I'm not too much of a sewist nor hand sewist, and so there are probably better ways to anchor your stitching, but I like to leave a long tail and then just make several of the same stitch until when I tug, the thread isn't going anywhere. So when doing this stitch, you want to be going into the back of the stitches in the yarn on the cups, and then you are pushing into your padded cup and going around that edge. Make sure you don't push all the way through in the cup. Again, we want these stitches to be hidden on the inside, but you're just going to space out your stitches evenly going into the crochet stitches. And if you look on this cup, you can see I stitched into the corners and then also into the very tippy top of the reds of the red yarn. So you can stitch into the whole base of the green, and we're going to go through the tops of the red on the 1, 2, 3, 4th round. So I want to do, actually now that this one is set, I'm going to push it aside. And I want to go through the very tips of the back of this red yarn. And now that I'm at the base of the green, I'm just going to pick some of that yarn up and go through. And it's okay if they're not spaced. Like I had these two closer and now they're getting wider apart. You just kind of want to space them evenly. You want it to feel secure, but don't stress out if you're not perfectly planning your stitches. You're going to keep going from the top here all the way down the side, and I'll meet you when we get to the corner just so that you can see again, and then we'll finish out the cup. So I have one whole side complete, and now I'm down to my corner. I took out the pin since I'm about to stitch into it, and I'm just going to give it a little tiny push so that it's touching these green corners, and I'm going to sew the corner with a couple of stitches. So, in through the top. Anywhere, like, I feel like 3 to 5 stitches is probably pretty good in there. Okay, and then that feels pretty secure. If I flick it, it's not going anywhere. So we can rotate our fabric. And now we're gonna do the same thing. Just keep checking in that you're not moving your fabric, you're on the right row there. And we'll continue this side, corner, and then I'll meet you back at the start here. Okay, and once you're back to the top and you feel like you really have that corner secured, you know what, I'm just gonna put one more in there because it's nice to have it feeling secure. You're gonna go ahead and weave in your end. So I'm just going, again, partially through the stitch, through the back, several times. Ooh. Ooh. Sure, that feels good. Okay. And then you're gonna go ahead and snip, weave in any other ends that you might need to. And when we flip our top over, you'll see that we have our cups perfectly matched, and we are going to feel nice and secure, covered. Again, you will have this little bit on the side, but you're gonna feel nice and secure and covered. Yay! So that is how you do your cups. I really hope that you enjoyed making this naughty but nice crochet bikini top. Again, if you'd like this to become a size inclusive, tested, graded pattern, please let me know in the comments, and that's something that I can do in the spring. If you make your own naughty but nice bikini top, I would love to see it. Please don't forget to tag me at Knitting Tipsy on YouTube or on Instagram. This was my first tutorial and I would love to make more. Let me know what you think. If there was anything that wasn't clear, if anything you'd like me to elaborate on. I did try to gear this tutorial towards a beginner crocheter, but I am welcome to kind, constructive feedback. If you're watching this video right when it was published, happy December, happy Vlogmas. Please feel free to check out my Vlogmas channel. We always have a really good time here at the Knitting Tipsy household. And please stop back again. One last sip. Rosemary to the eye. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, to share this video if you think someone would like it, and to like and comment. Thanks so much, y'all. See you next time.